Hey everybody, and welcome back to What's Up Wednesday. Today we're doing a card using a couple stamp sets. We have the Remembering Your Birthday, So Very Grateful, and I'm going to use the one of the smaller little flower arrangements there, and the Petite Petals stamp set along with the Petite Petals punch. I'm going to start off with some Calypso Coral ink, and using one of the stamps from the Petite Petals stamp set, I'm going to go ahead and stamp that out 3 times. And then I'm going to use the Petite Petals punch to punch those out. So what I like to do with the punch is I turn it upside down, and this way I can see where I'm lining up my image. And a little trick here is I kind of squeeze the punch a little bit just to help kind of hold it in place while I'm trying to line it up. It's the easiest way I found to get the punch lined up with the stamped image. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish punching these 3 little petals out. All right, my next thing is I'm going to take some So Saffron ink, and using the stamp from the So Very Grateful stamp set, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that down in the lower right-hand corner of this layered piece of Whisper White cardstock. And that Whisper White cardstock measures 3.5 by 4 3/4. So I'm just going to stamp that down in the bottom. And there are little flowers on this, but I'm going to go ahead and cover those up later on. My sentiment comes from the Remembering Your Birthday, and it says a birthday wish that's just for you, and I'm stamping that out using some basic gray Stampin' Up ink. So once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and do a little banner for the top of my card. My pattern paper comes from the I Am Me Designer Series paper, and that measures 1 inch. And what I did was I just lined that up on my grid and did a little mark right where the center is. And then the vellum, I did the same thing, and that one measures 1 3/4. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut a little slit right where I made that mark. And then I'll go from the corner to the center where that slit is. And that's what creates my little banner edge. And I'm going to do the same thing for the Designer Series paper. There's also a lot of dies out there that you can do this with, but I find it easier sometimes not to drag out my big shot and just to go ahead and cut my own little banner shape, and I can do it whatever size I want them to be. So once I have those cut out, I'm going to go ahead and add some snail adhesive to the back of the Designer Series paper. And then I'll adhere that to my vellum, and I'm kind of making sure that's just up a little higher on the vellum. And then I'll go ahead and add some snails to the back of that. And I'm just going right where the Designer Series paper is on the back, so you can't see the vellum, you can't see the adhesive through the vellum. I'm going to go ahead and line that up on my Whisper White piece of cardstock, and then I'll just take my scissors and trim off this little section that's hanging off. Once I have that done, I'm going to take a metal button from the Metal Buttons accessory set, and what I did was I just tied a little piece of ribbon on there and adhered that with a glue dot right up on the banner piece. And then I have my 3 little petals from the Petal Punch set, and I am just kind of curling up the edges. So I'm going to do that to all 3 of those little petals, and then I'll go ahead and adhere those down in the bottom corner. So that stamped piece in the So Saffron that I did from the So Very Grateful set kind of works as my little leaves. I probably should have stamped it up a little higher in the corner, but it worked okay here. So I'm going to go ahead and use some Tombow Mono adhesive and adhere that down. So I'm just going to put 2 dots on there for now and put my petals down. And then once I have those laid out where I want them, I'm going to add my 3rd dot of adhesive and my 3rd little petal, which will hang off that little layer piece, which is okay because it's going to go onto my card base anyway. So it gives a nice little, added dimension to that by letting it hang off the edge. I set that aside to dry, and I'm just using a standard A2 size card, which is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. And I'm going to add another piece of that same Designer Series paper that I used for my banner, which measures the same as the front of my card, 4 1/4 by 5.5. And I'm just adding some snail adhesive to that, and then lining it up right onto the front. And I always find it's easier for me to go from the corner and then line up the side and then lay it down. And that's the easiest way for me to get things lined up perfectly right when I'm using something that's the same size as my card base. So I'm going to take that panel piece, added some dimensional adhesive to the back, and adhered it up in the upper left-hand corner. And then I'm going to add some little rhinestones to the centers. And I'm sorry if you guys can hear my cats crying in the hallway. So I'm going to add rhinestones to each one of those little petals, and that would be my card for today. Coming up next are a couple pictures of my finished card. Alyssa's supplies are down below and over on my blog. And at the very end, if you want to hang out, you can check out some other videos that I have in my library, my video library. All right, everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll catch everybody next time.